Hey, welcome again, YouTube. This is our third edition of the Dookie Chronicles, and today we're going to talk about the different packages that Jam Pro offers, and the reason why we bought into the smallest package. But before we get started, please click the like button and the notification bell in order for us to, for you guys to get notifications on when we're coming back on, so you can catch the video. But we want to get into why we picked the FP-5 plan, which is the smallest plan with Jam Pro, and our strategy on building it out. So my wife's going to go over the different plans, and then I'll explain to you why we chose our plan and the strategy we had to build it out.
Right. Okay. And just to break it down, for those of you who are thinking about starting a Jam Pro business and you haven't quite gotten to the point to where you're talking to a master franchisor, or you have talked to a master franchisor, you're still trying to decipher the information that he's giving you, that's what we're here for. We're going to break it down with our experience of, how we got started and everything. So with the franchise plans, that was one of the bigger question marks that we had when we started. Like, where do we start in at? Do we start at the top, where the executive level plan, or do we start at the bottom? Because of course with the higher, the more you buy into the business, right, the more business that they're going to secure you back. So with us, like Pharrell mentioned, is that we started off at the bottom. We started off with the 2500 plan, or the FP-5 plan. And part of that too was because of our master franchisors. He was telling us like, hey, you all can start off at this plan. I'm going to build you up. I'm going to give you the business, So we was comfortable with starting off with FP5. Of course, whatever you're comfortable with, you have to go with what you're comfortable with. But for us, when we was making an initial investment into Jam Pro, because we did do some research, but of course with us doing our research, we kind of heard like, yeah, it's a good company. No, it's not. We kind of tiptoed into the business. So we started off with the lowest plan. So with the lowest plan, which is the FP5, you can buy in as low as $950. So you can make a down payment of $950. And it is what it says it is. It's just a down payment. To pay off the plan in full, it would be the $2,520. So $2,520 for you to buy that plan or that first contract outright. And here with our market, because we did have a question about that, with our market, that buying that plan outright secured us all of our equipment. So we got our vacuum cleaner, we got a Rubbermaid trash can, we got our bottles, we got the rags. All of that came with us paying that FP5 plan off, which was $2,520, which was our initial investment. But of course, if it's a situation where you decide you don't have the $2,520, you just want to make the initial down payment. That's all you want to do. So say you make the down payment, and I'm sorry, y'all, I need to get another marker. So say you make the down payment of $950, right? You still owe the master franchisor the difference from the plan of $2,520. So 950 minus, I'm sorry, 2,520 minus 950 is 7, 4, that's 5. So this is what you still owe the master franchisor, right? Plus, what happens is that if you don't purchase your contract outright, you have to pay the master franchisor back 3 times the amount of that contract. So say the master franchisor comes to you and they say, hey, I have a contract for you that is $500. In our market, our master franchisor is going to charge us for this contract. He's going to charge us back 3 times the amount of the monthly billing of this contract. So the master franchise is going to charge us back $1,500, which, depending upon your market, your master franchisor may finance this $1,500 over 12 months, He may finance it over 24 months, or they may do what's called sweat equity. So sweat equity is when pretty much they're financing it for 6 months. You're using your time. You're not getting back your investment right away. You are using your sweat, your work, to work off the amount that you owe him. And in most cases, to be honest with you, if the contract is under a certain amount, usually under $1,000, they're not going to finance it for 24 months. They're only going to finance it for 12 months. So, in the situation where, right, you put down a down payment of $950, you get no supplies, so you still have to pay for your supplies, a vacuum cleaner, whatever supplies you need to be able to service that contract. You still have to pay that. On top of, you still have to pay the difference that you owe them as a franchisor for him going out there and getting you the $416 worth of billing, right? So you still have to pay him back $1,570 plus a portion of the multiplier, right, Perel?
Correct. Basically, what you're gonna have to do is you're financing the multiplier, which at this stage, the FP-5, the multiplier will be a 4 because you haven't reached that threshold of 1,500. So once you reach that threshold of 1,500 in billing, once your business start bringing in $1,500 worth of billing in our market, the multiplier goes down from 4 times the value to 3 times the value. So basically, the reason why that contract is paid, the reason why we paid $2,500 is because it was a contract that was worth 4 times the value, which the 416, basically he charged the 416 as your monthly billing. That's what you got back for working the account. But what you want to do is, if I tell a lot of people, if you finance the $950, then you're going to be out of more money because you're going to have to pay back. You're going to have to pay back that multiplier of 4 plus any interest that he charges on top of that for financing it for you. Because I think if they finance it for you, they have to charge you 10% interest on it. So you're going to have to pay that interest back as well. So I tell a lot of people, if you're going to start at the lowest, buy it outright. So you don't owe him anything. He owes you the business. So now you can work on building that business, and then the only thing you have to do is pay your franchise fees, which is like 20%. So you pay that fee, and that way you won't be out of the fee, the franchise fee, plus the 10% financing fee, plus the multiplier fee, which won't give you anything pretty much in your pocket. So always look at the FP-5 and try to buy it outright. That way he owes you that month, that $416 debt free. And the only thing you have to worry about is the fees. So now you can worry about going out and trying to get other contracts, or having him try to go get other contracts that are larger that you could finance, and that should put you over that $1,500 threshold. And that way you'll be at a different multiplier, which would be a 3 versus a 4.
Right. So, and then also with the, like Perel was saying, is that, and like I said before, it's like, you want to be smart about how you invest into this company, because one of the biggest things that kind of scare people off are the fees. And that's one thing too, like you go and you work and you're like, dang, 20%, that's a lot. But if you're strategic in how you choose your contracts, like for us, before we take a contract, we have to make a certain amount of money, including after we pay employees, after fees are taken, after supplies, all of that. We have to make a certain amount of money before we will accept a contract. We don't just say, yeah, you're going to give us this $1,000 contract, oh, we're going to take it. No, it has to financially make sense. And that's one thing that we always tell people who come to us about advice with JanPro, is that you have to be smart about what you're taking. Don't just take anything because they're giving it to you.
Do your numbers.
Because what'll happen is that you'll get into a contract to where you feel like you're not making the money that you want to make, and then you'll get discouraged from the business. So you have to be smart about what you take. It's been plenty of times where we've told them, I can't even count on two hands how many accounts we turned down because it didn't make sense for us. So be smart about that. Be smart about what you're accepting from them. Yeah, of course, like I said, before with the fees, that is something that, again, that people get kind of worried about, are the fees. Like Pearl said, the 20%. And then you have to consider the fact that when a master franchisor offers you an account, you have to pay him 3 to 4 times the amount for that contract. Yeah, they're going to finance it. They're going to finance it over 12 to 24 months, depending upon how much you owe them, and also how
much the account is.
You're right, how much the account is. But yeah. So it's so many different factors that you want to factor in before you take an account.
Yeah. And then also, the reason why we chose the smallest account, because it was easier for him to go out and find that business for us, versus if we chose the executive package, one of those high packages where we went in and put $10,000 and he had to go find a $60,000 worth of business, or $12,000. It would take him, he has up to 6 months to find that business for you. So you've invested all of this money up front, and then he has time on his side to where he could come back and say, hey, I have 6 months to fulfill those contracts for you. So now it's taking longer for you to recoup the money that you invested. And then you're not going to recoup all that money right away, because now you got to work, you got to put time in the hole. So you got to put 60 days in the hole in order to get a check. Now you're wasting more time, and you don't have that money that you could use to buy more equipment, or you could use towards payroll to pay your employees. So that's why we chose the smaller route, on top of the fact that we didn't know whether it was going to be a good fit for us. And we didn't want to spend a lot of money knowing that, hey, it might not be a good fit. Let's walk away. I feel better walking away from $2,500 than walking away from $15,000 or walking away from $10,000. So that's one of the reasons why we chose the smaller package, because we wanted to be intentional about it. We know we had a desire to be in business, and we knew we wasn't going to fail at it, because this was it. It wasn't an option. We wanted to be retired from our jobs. So, another thing, when you're doing this business, you got to have a why of why you're doing it. You got to have a burning desire, because it's not an easy business to be involved with, because it's a service business.
That's right.
And if you can't handle serving people, then this is not going to be the business for you, because it can be discouraging. You're going to want to quit, but you have to be ready to push through that adversity. You got to be ready to say, I'm not going to quit today. I may feel like it, but I'm not going to quit. Yeah. So we're going to give you these strategies on how we built it. And it may not, and I tell a lot of people, for the first 6 to 12 months, you may not see the money that you want to see. But if you can make it to 12 months in this business, if you can make it past that 1 year, the sky's the limit. Because with us, we started small, but we grew it because we knew our why and why we were doing it. So in 6 months, we had hit almost 6 figures with the business. So that's why I say, you got to have your why, and you got to have a plan. And you always have to do your numbers. Don't take everything. Do your numbers. If it make financial sense to you, then take the contract. If it don't, tell them you don't want it. So go ahead, baby, keep going.
Well, you touched pretty much on everything. Again, like Pharrell was saying, is that you want to grow organically. I know a lot of people see people and they be like, oh my gosh, they're making that much money. Like, I want to make it now. And no, you have to be, like we were saying before, smart about it. Be strategic about it. With any business, I don't care what kind of business that you're doing, you have to grow organically. It's smart to grow organically. You don't want stuff just piled on top of you, because it becomes overwhelming. And especially with this business, to where, it's a lot to it. It's a lot to it when it comes to handling clients, when it comes to handling employees. It's a lot that goes along into it. So let it grow organically. And that's why we say, of course, it's your choice as to what plan you decide to go into. But we always, when we advise people, we always tell them, hey, you want to start off at the lowest plan. You want to be able to grow naturally. because it gives you a good pace. It allows you for you to pace yourself and get familiar with the business, learn from the business, see what not to do and what to do. But when you buy into, like Russ said, you buy into executive level plan, and which is what $21,000 you putting down into something, and then they're taking a while to fulfill those contracts for you. You get a little pissed off, because of course when you invest money, the idea is to get the money back, to invest the money, to get the money back, to reap the money back. So, that's just our, take on the Jan Pro business, and with the plans and what plans you should buy in at. We definitely recommend the FP-5 if you're going to buy into the plan.
Yeah.
And also strategizing, being smart. Don't just take anything that's given to you.
Yeah. And if you have any comments or any questions, please put it in the comment box, and we'll be sure to answer those questions and help anybody that want to join the business. And like I said, we're here to inspire people. We're here to help people grow their Jan Pro business, because we know that it's a struggle, and we know that it's rewarding at the end, but you have to suffer through the pain of growing the business in the front half of it, and then you'll reap the rewards going through it, and you can't run away from it, but you have to have that burning desire and that why of why you want to do it. Our burning desire was we didn't want to go back to work. So that's what's driving us with this Jan Pro business, and that's what drives us with all our other investments. So just keep with us, stay with us, and keep following us. And like I said, if you have any comments or any questions, please reach out to us and give us a comment, and we'll get back with you. And we want to end this with today's Dookie Chronicles. We have a story of why we try to guide a lot of people, and so we have a story of why you shouldn't buy those executive business. So we have someone that bought into one of those executive packages, spent thousands of dollars in it, started it, and it didn't work out for him. Right. And now he's wasted all of this money, and the business is not what he desired it to be. So he's lost time and money investing in a business that really he thought it was going to be something else that it wasn't. So that's why we tell a lot of people, please don't invest all your money. Take that money and save it, because that money can buy other things. That money can pay for payroll. That money can do a lot of different things for you in the Jan Pro business without having to buy these contracts, because the master franchise owner, he's going to go get those contracts for you, because that's the only way he's going to make his business. That's the only way he's going to build his, is to create leverage, through you financing these contracts with him. So you don't have to worry about going out and getting a whole lot of contracts. He'll get the contracts. Now, it is good to go get your own contracts, because that's what we do. We go get our own contracts. So we don't have to pay any multipliers on our own. But we'll talk about that later, and talk about the strategies on doing that as well. So once again, just click that like button and that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Dookie Chronicles. Hey, man. Hey, y'all be safe out there. Enjoy your life, and we'll see you on the other side.
Bye.
Bye.